Hi everyone, welcome to White Swan by Shalini. What if I told you that all your pain, your stress, your deep rooted fears could be eliminated in seconds? That also without touching your body or any therapy or medication. Sounds impossible, right? Well, today we are diving deep into the fascinating world of instant energy shift with the Yuen method. Joining us today is a very special guest. She has been practicing this powerful technique for over 13 years, transforming countless lives along the way. So, without further ado, let's welcome Geetha. Hi, Geetha. So lovely to have you here.
Thank you so much. Hi, Shalini. Lovely to be here too. Really looking forward.
How's your day been going?
Day is fine.
Yeah,
It's
that's
been
lovely.
amazing. Yeah.
So, Geetha, before I start, I would love to know your journey, about your journey, as well as what led you to be a UN method practitioner.
Okay. So it was a very interesting journey. I'm a chartered accountant.
Oh,
Yeah. And I was working in that capacity in a listed company here. I was doing the accounts audit, the usual works. I was head of it. And I was simultaneously actually also exploring alternative methods. My daughter was in a special school at that time, and she was undergoing like different therapies like speech and physio and all of that. So we always, like both my husband and I, would always explore different ways that we can support her.
right.
Right. So along that journey, 14 years ago, we stumbled upon the UN method.
Oh, wow.
It was like mind boggling because that one session we had, it was so comprehensive. We had gone for my daughter,
Right.
but that practitioner, he was just sitting across like that. It's a non-intrusive method. It's no touch, no contact, nothing. So he was just sitting across like that, and he touched upon my husband, myself, my parents, her siblings, everything. Like he had gone. It was so comprehensive. He had covered the whole family tree. Okay, and it was so like bang on. You would say, "Oh my God, that's true. That's how I feel." Right. So he would touch upon that. And also, one thing that was really amazing for us was that we did not need the active participation of the child.
Oh, wow.
That was really a plus for me because she was like very fearful or at that time. So I can't just tell her to be brave. It just wasn't working.
Right.
I couldn't tell myself to be brave. How could I just tell her? When we are scared, right?
Right.
So this was very amazing that because we started seeing the changes.
Right.
So the changes were immediate. So immediately we see that there's a shift. So that's when, I decided I have to learn this method. So I just jumped deep dive into the method. And the rest is history because now I'm a mother of 3.
Wow.
Yeah, and it has been an inseparable part of our lives. And as a family, we've all been benefited. We've all evolved. I've evolved as a person and as a practitioner. It is. It's just like it's like I am breathing it. Okay, so I just live it. It's just become a part of my life. I still continue. I'm independent director in a couple of boards, and I'm a senior accredited director in the Singapore Institute of Directors. So that part of my life is also going on. This is like effortlessly just got interwoven.
Right.
Into
So how it's interwoven in your day-to-day life. It's
yes.
amazing to see that. But was that your oldest daughter that
Yes.
went through it? Oh, wow. Usually this happens, we go to these kind of modalities when nothing works for us. We think that something out of the blue maybe can work for us.
Yes.
And then, it's so
We
beautifully
just explore, and then this came along, and it was just the right fit.
Exactly. So it's so interesting to know about this. But could you tell us a little bit more about the UN method?
Oh, yes. So the UN method was developed by Dr. Cam Yuen.
Okay.
He's no more now. He passed away in 2023. He was the Kung Fu Grandmaster of the Shaolin lineage.
Oh.
Yeah. And he was also an engineer by profession and literally a rocket scientist. He worked for NASA. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, he is. So it was like, and he was also a doctor of chiropractic. He was, he knew homeopathy. So it was like he was wearing multiple hats. And if you Google him, it's very interesting. He's even directed some fight scenes, kung fu movies.
Okay.
Yeah, you can just Google Dr. Cameo and you will find very interesting facts about him. He was a contemporary of Bruce Lee.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
That's
And they
amazing.
have actually worked together on a movie.
Oh.
So these are all fun facts.
Right.
You can look it up. But yeah, so he developed this because there was a lot of know-how in him. And Shaolin Kung Fu itself is like a lineage of thousands of years. And he had other, knowledge base. And it just all came together. And he just came up with this very simple way. When a person is actually an expert, what they say will come out very simply.
Right.
Right?
Naturally.
Because so much has gone into them that they can actually make it very simple for you.
Okay.
So some of the best teachers do it very simple.
Exactly.
When they say complicated stuff, you're also like, okay, just that one. So just one sentence he said, the Yuen method, I can just tell you in one sentence. He said, think, stop thinking, feel. Okay. So you're thinking about a problem. Stop thinking about it. So you stop emoting, you stop thinking, just put a pause. Okay. And then feel for the answer. The right answer will always solve the problem. So it's like, the problem is a lock and the answer is a key.
Right.
Okay. And it just unlocks. The right key will always unlock the lock.
Absolutely.
Right. So that's how it actually works. And for us, it's like, how is that possible, right?
Exactly.
So actually, it's very, it's based on fundamentals, okay? So if you see like, okay, the human population right now, everyone, we all have stress and pain of some sort, okay? So everybody is, bogged down. You see corporate, urban life, rural life, anywhere you see, there's good. And across age, gender, race, country, everybody has stress and pain of some sort, right? But that is kind of counterintuitive because we are supposedly the pinnacle of the evolutionary process. Okay, so they say we have a bigger brain, and we know we have, and the upright spine, a very sophisticated nervous system. We seem to have an understanding and a thinking beyond what other species have. Now, with all this, why is life more tough?
Right.
Right. So it should have been effortless, right? But it's more tough. And of course, survival we have cracked. We are like 7 billion awesome people. Okay.
Exactly.
That aspect we have cracked. But effortless living, we seem to be challenged by it. It's almost like we are suffering our advantages, right? We are suffering it. We are more stressed in comparison to the other species, right? So this is where the Yuen method comes in. So it takes in the very basics, okay? So the profile is like a computer, okay? So there is a hardware to it, okay? So what is the hardware? That sophisticated central nervous system we have. It's truly awesome. It's like a motherboard, okay? So that brain, the spinal cord, that whole unit there, okay, it's like a motherboard. Then with all the peripheral nervous system, the nerves that are coming out of it, that whole thing, you can see it as the hardware.
Right.
Okay. Now the mind with all the multiple, actually it's very multifaceted. Mind is not limited. I think we all know that.
Exactly.
It's not limited to what the thinking conscious mind. There's a lot more to it. There are a lot more facets to it. So the whole part is the software.
Right.
Okay, now there is a hardware, there's a software, and there's a computer. Now, how do you give instructions to the computer? There is a keyboard.
Right.
And where is the keyboard? Like, where is my keyboard? Okay, so that is our own thought. Okay, it's not that superficial thought we have, it's a physical thought. Okay, that is a keyboard input. Now, it's kind of like, what is a physical thought? Okay, so you can actually experience it. Like if I tell you right now, think of, close your eyes and think of something that really you like something you hate the most or dislike or you fear the most. Just think of it. Like that person, the situation, if you go through that, you actually feel some physical changes. Isn't it?
Yes.
Like what do you feel?
Like I feel my body cramping up.
Oh, okay. So that's one effect, right? You cramp up because there's fear maybe, right? You're cramping up, you're tensing up. Or some people can be heavy with sadness, right? The pulse rate can change, heart rate can change, breathing can change. So this is a physical effect to that,
Right.
isn't it? So that this has weakened you. Basically, this thought has weakened you.
Yes.
Okay. So that is a physical thought. Now, if I just say right now, you think of the happiest moment in your life. There's an inner smile. You already smiled, right?
Yes,
The
absolutely.
happiest moment in your life. So immediately the body's physiological, there are changes, chemicals, everything has changed. Okay, we don't know the whole of it, but everything changes as per the thought we have. That's a physical thought. Now, currently, it's like, things happen to us and there is that field that comes, and that is actually giving the instruction to the hardware and software. Okay, it's running a biocomputer. The Yuen method teaches us to take charge of that computer. You are in charge of your physical thought. Okay, so it's not like, oh, somebody said this to me, I'm going to feel this way. Somebody else, something is happening, situation is coming, or there's a future worry and there's a physical thought. Because what's happening is with all these external stimuli, it's almost like I'm not in charge of the keyboard. Somebody is going to just come and type into my keyboard.
Yes.
And my biocomputer is going to listen to those instructions. Why would I do that, right? So we want to take charge of my own keyboard. So we can change it to be supportive to my biocomputer. So I will give that physical thought, that instruction, which is going to be helpful for me. So the Yuen method is like a manual for this. Okay. So the Yuen method is a manual which is going to tell us how to handle that keyboard and also how to take charge of the servicing aspect, because every sophisticated equipment needs, a car needs servicing.
Yeah.
If it's a violin, you need to tune it. Now this is such a fine computer that we have. You need to look after it.
Absolutely.
Okay, 10 years if I don't service the car, how is it going to be?
Exactly.
Right. So we need to look after this equipment. So the Yuen method does that. It's a manual for that. And in the process, you also learn how to use the keyboard to your benefit, right? So it uses a very simple thing which we already have. So there's no external tools or protocol, nothing. You have an intuitive part, like all of us have an intuitive part to ourselves. We've all experienced it, right? We can call it instinct, we can call it gut feel. I have a gut feel that this is working, and or you say like, sometimes it happens, right? That I sense my mother is not well. Something is not okay with me. I feel a bit restless. I'm calling my mother, she's not well. It happens. Or a child somewhere overseas you feel it, right? Now that's something extra. We have that perception that works. Or a mother, like, once you're a mother for a while, you know why the child is crying.
Right.
The child doesn't speak to you, but it's not always that it's crying because it's hungry. And
Absolutely.
as a mother, you would know it, right?
Because mother institutions are
Mother's intuition, exactly. So that intuition we all have, it's just that it's random and we don't know when to trust it. How do I go with it, right?
Exactly.
So, but that is something you can develop. It's like I'm working on my core muscles, I'm working on my hamstrings, I'm going to work on my sixth sense. So you work on it. And once you keep, it comes. So you just have to experience it, practice, and you keep developing that muscle. Think of it like that. Okay. And then you are going to use that to find that right answer. Okay. So when that right answer comes, it's like that lock and the key. It's unlocked. It's resolved. That problem is away. The keyboard is with you. Because the problem has control over the keyboard. It's going to make you feel a certain way. I can't help but feel sad. I can't help but be scared. I can't help but worry. Right. We can help it. Let's take charge of the keyboard.
Right.
That's what it is. This is the Yuen method.
Wow.
Think, stop thinking, feel.
See. So you've explained this so beautifully. But what actually happens is, like you've told in Yuen method, stop thinking and start feeling. Right. But what actually happens with human beings is they cannot stop thinking.
Okay.
By any chance, if you tell me stop thinking about anything, even while I'm meditating or sitting down, they always tell you stop thinking about anything else and just focus on your breathing. But what happens is our mind still wanders and we still think about 100 things.
Very true.
So that when you explain that Yuen method tells you to stop thinking, how is that possible to stop thinking and just feel?
Okay, when you begin, you go to another person. Okay, that person is not thinking about your problem.
Right.
They can stop thinking easily.
Exactly.
Isn't it? We always have wonderful advice for the neighbor's problem.
Absolutely.
It's only my problem that is troublesome, right?
Yeah.
So you go to another practitioner, that's why. So you go to, I mean, practitioner is like a formal word, but you just go to another person, okay? So they can stop thinking about your problem easily because they're neutral to it. This whole method is about neutrality, actually. So so they can get the right answer, but in the process, you are going to be neutral. Your problem is going to resolve. Okay. So for that aspect, you've gained that access for the keyboard. Okay. So we keep gaining more and more access of the keyboard. Eventually, you can stop thinking about your own problems.
Okay.
You will come to that point. That's how we are all here. Okay. So we can't stop thinking about our own problems if it's not so hyper active, the emotional aspect. It will come down, keep on coming down, and then you can easily address your own issues for your own children. Definitely.
So does that mean like initially we do need a practitioner around to help us? Then we can
Till you
learn.
get the hang of it, yes. It's like learning an instrument. Like if I give you a violin right now, you start learning on your own. You will at least go to YouTube and Google and find out.
Right.
So you need guidance initially.
Okay.
But basically, this is something you have. It's nothing that is taught. It's something that you just pick up.
Right.
It's like almost remembering a talent that you have, because we've all had, like, we've used our intuitive self or instinctive self as ape men or something.
Right.
Or even now, if you throw us in the jungle for a month,
Yes.
my sense of
it's gonna
perception,
heighten it.
everything is going to be heightened, right? We'll quickly develop it again. Why? Now we don't use it because we are thinking, we are living in a world which thinks. We don't need this, so it's kind of dormant. So it just comes back once you are thrown into the water. You learn to swim.
Right. So true. So, your explanation about Yuen Method seems very scientific because you told the master himself has worked in NASA. So I'm pretty sure he came with a science
It's
background.
absolutely scientific. It's like based on the fundamentals of how things work, how the human being is designed. Okay, so it's going to work. A scientific fact is like that. It's going to work every time, all the time for everyone, right? It's not like, oh, for some people it works, for some, then that's not a science.
Exactly.
Right? But this is a science because it works every time, all the time, for all people. So it is a
It's
science.
quite amazing to hear that it works for everyone, every time.
Yes, I mean, there's testimonials and all that, but I'm a testimony. If you come to me, you are a testimony for the method because you experience it. So,
Exactly.
so everyone who comes, they are their own testimonial.
Right. We expect that healing to be a very slow and a long process. But Yuen Method, it promises to be very instant and immediate.
Yes.
Could you explain us that aspect of the modality?
Oh, yes. That is one of the most attractive parts. We are so impatient in this world, right? Why should we just sit and wait? And we don't even know if it's working. Many times, many people are sitting with a problem for years, okay? So Yuen Method actually has immediate results. So whatever we address is like just gone because the right answer solves the problem. Okay, it's that key which has unlocked that lock and it's gone. So it's immediate. And we can perceive it. Okay, so maybe initially we are like, we don't know what is perception yet, right? Like I said, it's all dulled. But you get it. Okay, so because it's part of us, perception is also a part of us. So we can perceive the changes instantly. Okay, so so to give you an example.
Right.
Okay, so
That'd be nice.
okay, there was this lady who's been coming to me for a while and for other issues. And that time she came to me saying she's visited the dentist a few times and her toothache is unresolved. So do not know why it is there because they've done a couple of things and it's still there. So we addressed it and like how in the Yuen method it works, we go with a priority. So I don't go in saying, oh, it is a toothache. I'm not concluding on anything. I say, I don't know.
Right.
Which is true. I don't know. So I'm going to let the intuitive part of myself find it. Okay. So the intuitive part is going to go by what the body needs first, what's the body needing second. So there's an order to it, there's a priority there. Okay, so what came up was it's not a toothache. The teeth are fine, but it was the space behind the teeth which was weak. Okay, and that needed strengthening. A few things over there, we strengthened that, and she immediately, the pain was gone. Okay. And she was so surprised because though she's come to me before and she's experienced other changes, it's always a pleasant surprise. Even to me, even now, it's always a pleasant surprise that you're suffering from something and that just goes. Okay. So she was like, she was so thrilled and she said, "My God, I'm not feeling the pain. I'm not feeling the pain." And then she bit her teeth. It's still not paining. Then she still couldn't believe it. She said, "No, yesterday by mistake I had bitten into a peanut and it was paining. I'm going to get a peanut." So she ran to the kitchen. She got some peanuts and she bit into it and still no pain. And then she was like, "This is so miraculous." So then she's come to me for other stuff later on, but that toothache never came back.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it gets to the root cause of the problem.
Exactly.
Right. So we can see that it's addressing all the physical pain and issues. But what about mental, psychological, or emotional issues? Does it also address that? 'Cause
Yes.
as a parent, let's say I'm a modern parent, and we surely go through a lot of stress.
True.
So does it actually address the emotional part of it also?
Yes, anything and everything can be addressed because, like I said, it's just based on the fundamentals of how things work in the human body and in otherwise. So it just works on anything and everything. There's no difference between physical, mental, emotional, psychological. Any issue can be addressed. So, for example, like I said, this toothache. Okay, so this lady came for a toothache. That was a physical pain she was going through. And they're all interrelated. It's not like physical pain means there is only a physical cause to it. We know that, right? It's all intermeshed. Like we are such a sophisticated system. So, there are so many subtle nuances to it. It's not straightforward black and white like that, right? So there are so many interconnections. So the toothache could have some other link to mind, what's happening in your life at that time, so many things, right? So that's like very common. If somebody comes with a physical pain, we just straight away see, is it physical or non-physical, the reason? Okay, so that's one of the first things you check. Okay. So that's the physical. Or you can come with a non-physical thing. So I've had a mother coming in for her daughter had severe anxiety issues. Okay, so severe, like this was very recent, like last August she came, and the daughter was repeating her 12th grade. Because of the anxiety, she couldn't take the exams. Now that's severe. So when she has to go to the exam, she'll just like hold on to the chair and like refuse to get up. She won't go to school.
Okay.
And she'll start, panting and becoming breathless.
So
like
she would
panic
not leave
attack.
the house.
She wouldn't leave the house.
Okay.
So she was repeating the year, and you can imagine the mother's stress. You can imagine our stress when such things happen, right? So the mother was super stressed and super frustrated with the situation also. She because she's telling the child, you should be brave, you should, I don't know, maybe breathe deeply, something, but it's not working. So she came to me and we addressed, there were multiple layers. So this wasn't a case like, that toothache, one layer, done, gone, not like that, because there were multiple layers. There was a family, there were certain family influences, the father, the mother, everything goes into us, So there was, and her own experiences in the past. So she had built this anxiety over many years. So there were layers to it, secondary issues. I believe I cannot get all right. Now that's a secondary layer you're adding to the basic issue. Okay, so limiting beliefs can come in, fears can come in. So there were layers to it. So we kept addressing all the layers. So the layer that goes. It's not coming back. The child shows a shift. So there was a shift. And every time we do a session, so the mother kept coming every week. And we did August, September, October already there were exams. So October to November, she had exams. She went through all the exams and I'm like having goosebumps even now. I'm so happy every time it happens. I'm also happy to see the changes, right? So though I know it will change, it's always wonderful to see that, right? So now the girl has got results. Her grades are good enough for her to get into NUS,
Oh, wow.
National University of Singapore. She's applied. The grades are like entry level already. She's waiting to see the result, but it's amazing.
Right. So let's
Now
say she was a brilliant child.
She
It's
was
just
already good with her academics, but just that exams she
Anxiety.
couldn't take. So the anxiety was there.
at that level.
So, okay, since you mentioned like already she was good at, so there's another child who's coming. She's doing her 10th in India. Okay, so she calls me by herself. So the child herself interacts with me. The mother has asked the child to interact with me. So she will tell me, Auntie, there is exam today. No, it's going to be next week. And I'm very scared of Hindi. Or I'm like, then we see which aspect of the subject is bothering her.
Okay.
Why should any subject be a problem? You see how children pick up languages because they're fresh.
Right.
No hang-ups, no beliefs. They just learn the language, right? But as we grow older, we have filters.
Yes.
So there was something. So we kept working with her, and she has also. So she comes back after the exam and says, "Oh, no, the paper was easy." Okay, so paper was easy. Or she will tell me next exam is this. I seem to be forgetting things when I'm studying. When I write, I forget.
Right.
So just we see the memory, what's happening with that. Why is there a recollection issue there? So we strengthen. So it's not like we all come with a certain level of expertise or certain level of aptitude. No, everything can be changed. So it depends on how much you want to invest of yourself into it. You really want it, then you'll keep at it, right? So you keep seeing where else there's a weakness, where else, and you can strengthen. She's given her exams and she said all her subjects were easy. She's given me this feedback. I don't know. So because in India, the exams are just over for the 10th.
Right.
She's waiting for her results.
To come out. So what my understanding can be that it's just not for a person who is going through some kind of pain or emotional pain or a physical pain, but it can even help you to strengthen your weakness, but something that you are not good at, but it can also help you to strengthen that and look at something that you're not good at and work
on that. Yes. So it's not like just like what you're not good at. You might want to do it out of like a hobby. Maybe you're just interested in it. Or it's like an exam. You have to give that exam.
Exactly.
It's going to cause you stress and pain if you don't clear it and get good marks, right? So it's standing in the way somehow. So we can strengthen it. Right. And there are so many. So this is like about exams, or there are other people who have come like, okay, there was this very interesting example where the man comes to me. He is also overseas. He's not in Singapore. So we had this Zoom meet, and the issue he came up with was that he couldn't get over 20 years ago. His mother passed away. Okay, and he cannot get over the guilt because he couldn't be with her in India when she passed away. So he was so guilty and he's so sad and he's feeling so terrible. Like her picture's hanging on the wall. This is what he shared. Her picture's hanging on the wall in the living room. He can't pass that picture and like look at that picture. That's how much it bothered him. And he came to me. So we did that session and we cleared whatever was there to clear. So again, we followed the priority, what comes. So it's not like, just mother guilt. There will be a story why he's feeling so much about it. Okay. So there is, we resolve that. Like you said, root cause.
Exactly.
Right. So we go through the steps. Then 4 months later, I didn't hear from him. Then 4 months later, he came back to me and he was, initially, he just started off the session saying, I have something about business. And I said, what about your mother? He said, what about her? And I said, you don't remember? You were feeling guilty about your mother. And he's like, oh yeah, no, that's completely gone. So he had completely forgotten that he had come to me about the mother and the guilt and all that. Of course, so I said, are you okay to pass by the photograph in the living room and see her? He said, yeah, that's completely fine. That just went away. Now I want to ask about the business.
Wow.
It's like
so at
that.
one point, something that was so disturbing to him and something
And
that
20 years.
And then he completely forgot about it.
He just forgot. I had to ask him and then he was like, oh yeah, I had come for that issue. He has forgotten that he had an issue in that area.
Right.
So sometimes people come and say like corporate life, boss. or this person had a promotion
Exactly.
interview.
If someone wants to look for a promotion.
Promotion interview, and when that interview is happening, he couldn't think on his feet. Like, he wouldn't come up with though he knows everything. At that moment, he kind of freezes, and he wouldn't be able to showcase what he knows properly, and he wouldn't get that promotion. And the same person also had issues with going on stage and speaking. And see, if you want to grow in the corporate ladder, you have to be comfortable with, people speaking and all that, right? So we kept working. He got that promotion. He's totally fine with it. Like, he sent me a video of him speaking. It's an MNC. There's a huge panel, like the video panel showing at the back, and they're on the stage, and there are like a few people sitting there. He's one of them, and he's delivering the talk. And there was this whole audience, the company people are sitting on the thing. So he sent me that video. He said, now I'm so comfortable with this.
So he's able to, you helped him with his public speaking.
And that promotion where he could think on the feet and be like spontaneous, because basically it was like so much fear that he's not able to recollect what he should.
Right.
It's a lot of coordination that should happen.
Right.
So many. So to answer your question, it's not only physical pain. It can be across the board. It could be mental, emotional issues, and so many life aspects. It could be relationships.
Right.
So there are young people coming and saying, my spouse, my mother-in-law.
Right.
So it can be relationship issues. It could be like this career, job, or plain physical.
It looks like that Yuen method is endless and has endless scope.
Oh, yes.
So the application of the Yuen method seems infinite, really. So could you tell me that does it help you in manifestation too?
Yeah. Manifestation is like what you want, you create, right?
Right.
Yes, absolutely. Because that's like the fun aspect of it. Because when you start, you're like stress, pain, you want to delete. And then once your life is kind of settled and you want to do something creative. It's always fulfilling when you create and you have your own expression, right? So that's when it becomes even more expansive, the application of this method, because what you want to create. So suppose I want to start a business, or I want to, I don't know, anything, okay, whatever your goal is. So you can strengthen yourself for that. So if it comes naturally to you, so be it.
Okay.
But not everything comes naturally, but we want to do it. Or maybe I'm creative and say I'm going to create art pieces, but I'm not good at the business side of it. You need a balance, right? We can't just outsource everything. We need to have a hang of it and be. So you check for the strength.
Okay.
We don't need to learn every single skill, but I have to be strong for it. Okay, so I'm strong for the money aspect. I'm strong for dealing. I'm strong for negotiating. There are so many aspects.
Sorry, I didn't understand. What do you mean by strong?
Okay.
Yeah.
So that is the term we use it so much that I just slipped into that lingo. Okay, it just means that there is no botheration there.
Okay.
So initially when I started, I said, think of something that is bothering you, like you dislike or you hate or you're scared of. And you felt that weakening effect.
Yes.
We don't want anything to weaken us.
Okay.
Because that's when I'm giving my keyboard to somebody else. It's like somebody else is going to press the buttons there instead of me. Okay, so that's what we mean. So we want it to be strong. That means it's with me. The keyboard is with me. So if the keyboard is with me, I'm always going to be supportive for myself, right?
Okay.
That's what it means. So you just check that there are no botherations, or in other words, you're strong to various aspects of that business. So creative, you're creating great art, and that's amazing. But then what about the rest of it, so that it reaches the target audience or something like that, right? So that's one of the examples. So you create what you want. And not always like, you said, I'm going to do this, and then everything falls in place automatically and you reach there. Life is going to happen. So there will be factors coming in. Maybe there's competition and you're like bothered that, I want to sell my art. Or somebody is going to maybe hack your stuff, or it happens, right? They steal art, isn't it?
Right.
All sorts of things can happen. So how you travel that path. You have to negotiate various things that might crop up on the way and reach your goal. So that means you stay with the process and you're going to strengthen yourself as it comes. This has become a challenge. Let's see where the weakness lies. Why did this happen?
Right.
So if so we strengthen for the why it happened so that it doesn't happen again. Then we strengthen for the it's already happened. So how do I come out of it? Okay. It's finished. It's resolved. And now I don't want to linger and think about it again and again and get scared of the future. Oh, I can't even put a step ahead because I'm scared that something is going to happen. Now that is again something you strengthen so that you again start. You don't get burdened by the past negative experiences. So you move on. So at every stage you can strengthen so that you can actually move forward and reach your goals. So it's like a very powerful tool for creating what you want.
Right.
Not just deleting stress and pain.
Right. So many a times we think of creating, let's say manifesting, but we ourselves don't know that what we are manifesting is actually what we want.
True.
Right.
That's a very important
So how
point.
does
So we actually, because this is using the intuitive part of ourselves, which is more, it has a bird's eye view, so to speak. Our conscious mind kind of has limited perspective. The intuition, the insight has bird's eye view. So it knows the bigger picture. So it's going to guide you to what's best for you.
Right.
So it can happen. And since you brought it up, it's so true that I might be thinking, I want this, but that may not be in your path to what you need to live for your highest potential. So we all want to feel fulfillment. We all want to express ourselves, our authentic self. We all want to express. We may not realize it. We might be thinking of something else, but this is what it truly is, like that expression. It's like, how every thing in nature wants to thrive.
Right.
Every person wants to flourish and thrive.
Exactly.
It's a natural thing, right? So that if it is not in the path and we are just coming up with something in a mental way, like, I think this is good, or everybody loves it. So that's something so common I come up with, like, especially children, they've applied to universities. That's the most sought after university and I want to go there. Now, that's such a, like a herd. Like, how can one university be suitable for every personality there? Right. So we will have our own expression. We will have our own traits. So there will be a most suited college, not the most sought after college.
Right.
You know that difference. So so then it kind of guides you to go towards.
So can we say that Yuen Method will help you to first grow on your intuitions, as in work on your intuition first, and then it'll help you to manifest as to what your potential is?
I wouldn't say there's like step 1, step 2, not like that. It's all hand in hand. So you start off, okay? So if you say, suppose you're going to begin this journey with Yuen Method, so you don't even know what it is, right? I mean, you haven't experienced it. You kind of know what it is because I'm saying, explaining to you.
Right.
But so you experience it, okay? The experience is the best way to go with it. So you experience it with another person. You see how your issues are getting resolved. Okay. So as you keep going along the way, you say, okay, if I want to do it for one of my own issues, it's a very natural progression. You want to also clear it off on your own and not always run to someone else, right? So then you learn it and you start working on little things where you can pause that thinking and emotion. Maybe there are big ticket items where it's so emotional you can't pause the thinking and emotion. But there'll be small ticket items where you can pause. Okay, then you see, oh, okay, this is how it works. So then you're actually resolving, also strengthening your intuition, also reinforcing the confidence. You will get doubts because it's something that we haven't used for ages. So we will get doubts. So we refer back, we go to another person to check and or a person with more experience. So it's like I'm a chartered accountant and I've done articleship training. So this is like articleship training. So literally I have apprenticed under Dr. Yuen. So it's not like there's any blackboard teaching, even CA. We did have texts and all that.
I'm pretty sure.
but you learn by doing. That's the articleship training. in CA. So you're working and learning. So you're going to be attached to a senior who's going to guide you how to do the, audit or account, whatever, check the account. So they will be guiding you.
Okay.
And you're there with them for 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how the course is done. And there's a theory part to it which you learn, and that's the different. So this is like that. So you apprentice, you learn on the job. So how does a cobbler teach his son or a blacksmith teaches? So think of it like that. It's a skill which you learn by seeing, which by experiencing. So you've started off on the journey of actually doing it on yourself, and then you still be in touch with like maybe a senior person, so that you still gaining. So I was with Dr. Yuen till the very end, till he passed on, because he has got so much experience. There's always something to learn.
He has Pandora boxes of all the solutions. Would you be comfortable to take us through a demonstration of how does your session go about?
Yeah, sure. I would love to. Actually, it works best if there is a like a live, like there's a question which is actually bothering, and because it's an interactive process. So is this what you feel? And,
Okay.
But we can just give a general idea with a hypothetical situation. Right. So just take something simple, okay? So somebody comes with a back pain.
Okay.
Or a knee pain. Okay. So now 10 people can come with knee pain. Yeah. But there can be 10 different stories. Okay, so we are not going to say, oh, knee pain means this. Okay. There is no conclusion about anything. Okay, so you're just going to be open. We're blank. We're saying, okay, let's see what's the story today. Okay. And even if that person has come with knee pain yesterday and today they've come, I told you there are fresh layers. Right. What is gone is gone. So again, it's a new story. Okay. So we are looking at the knee pain. So then I ask, so what kind of pain do you have? So we don't want medical labels or diagnosis and any names. Okay. Those are just terms. That's just a language. We want to go by what the person is experiencing. Okay. So I will say, what is your pain like? Is it a pricking pain, or is it a throbbing pain? Okay. Or is it like a sharp pain or something like that? So how is the pain? How you experience it? And what does it make you feel? Like, say, some people can say, oh, I have a knee pain. I'm not able to run. I'm not able to do this. Or some people can say, I feel... How come only I have knee pain, none of the others have it? Now, that's a particular way of feeling it, right? Exactly. So that is important, All these are like clues for the detective. They're feeling this particular nuance, there is a story there. Okay. So don't miss out any of these clues. So when we are training, like I'm training my students, I always tell them, just ask the questions or hold the symptoms. Okay. Don't leave out all these. They're all clues. Or if they say, the words they use, they can give you a clue. The way the words are being used. So you're just like, your sixth sense is just there, the antenna is just there, and it's like taking in all this, and it's going to process and give you the output. Okay, so now another thing that we ask is like, when do you feel the pain? Like some people say, oh, I wake up with a pain, or when it's cold, like winter time, the pain becomes more, or they would say when I'm climbing the stairs or climbing down the stairs, all that matters. So that's the thing. So first we just get all these clues, and then we process with whatever the priority comes up for finding the root cause. Okay. And that's not something, it comes to you. It comes to you rather than you do something about it. Right. So this is like a process of just being. Right. So it just comes to you. So then the pain will shift. With the right answer, the pain would have shifted in some form. So maybe if they're saying, oh, this part was paining, now it's moved to this part. Mm-hmm. It all the time happens. Okay. Or they'll say it moved from the left knee to the right knee. It can move, okay, but it's moved. That means there's a change. There's a change, yeah. Because something has resolved and it's moving. So we keep with that process and we resolve it. Okay. So depending on the layers, like I said, and sometimes, people resist change as well. So you have to stay with them in that. And they have to partner with you, because there's a part of them which could be resisting the change. Like a person, nobody wants to be sick, okay? Right. Sickness can have some benefits. So, a sick person might be getting more kindness or attention. And suppose they're craving for that kind of thing. Unconsciously, they're holding on to it because it's giving them a benefit. So then you work with that resistance and then to kind of align so that your whole profile wants one thing.
Right.
If different parts of my profile wants different things, where will it go? We get stuck, right? So then you kind of align for that integrity in the profile.
Okay. So does one need to keep coming back again and again for a session? Because Yuen Method talks about being instant and immediate. So does one need to keep coming, or is it lasting? Just one session is good enough to last?
Like I gave you all these examples.
That
There was like some cases, it's like that particular problem just went away. Now, for this lady who came with the daughter's anxiety issue, it took like, say, 2 months.
Okay.
Because there were fresh layers to address. But what you need to know is that every time there's a change.
Exactly.
So we build upon that change, acknowledge that change. That becomes the foundation for the next block.
Right.
Again, that becomes, so you're building upon the changes. So, or sometimes, initially the person, like people who have stayed long with me, they immediately they will feel that shift. But if you're coming for the first time or second time, you still haven't got the hang of it because we are not used to using our perceptive part of ourselves. It's not so developed, right? So we are like, what changed? I don't know.
Exactly.
So sometime it can happen. You strengthen them for the change, to perceive that change, and they will see that thing because it's a part of you. Perception, intuition is all a part of you. It's not something that I'm giving you or something like that. So you just have to activate it. So even for training, you activate that sense of intuition and perception because this is not a blackboard teaching. They have to get it, right?
Okay.
So that it's all about activating their intuition and their sense of perception. They see it. They get the insights, their own ahas, right? So they will see the change. They see the change. So you stay with the process. And sometimes it has happened to me, right? Initially, when I was with Dr. Yuen, he would say, how do you feel now? And I'm like, how do I know now? The situation, because sometimes it's not physical pain you're going with. I would have come up with, my daughter is getting scared in school and what. So he would have done something and he'll say, how do you feel now? I'm like, I don't know. I have to wait for my daughter to go back to school and then I'll see, right? But no, actually, you can feel the change right then.
Okay.
Now that's what, like people who have stayed with me for a long time as the students, they can sense. I just ask them now, does the situation feel different? They will see the perception. That's how strong our perception is. You don't have to wait for grass level events to happen. That's very slow. This is super fast. You can sense the change even before it happens because the fundamentally the person has shifted. And you can sense that, right? So, so the perception is developed. That's something you, even as a receiver, like you're coming as a client, it keeps on building. The perception becomes stronger and stronger and stronger, and you can see the changes. And sometimes, some things, even if you don't feel the change, you have seen changes in other aspects. So this is also changing. It's just that now you're not seeing it, but just you stay with it. Then a month later, you see the change because it's been collecting. It's just that I didn't see it. And suddenly we see, oh, wow, this is so. For example, my mother, she was suffering from rheumatoid arthritis and she used to have a lot of pain and all that. And when I started off, she wouldn't believe. And a daughter is doing no weightage to it, okay? No gravitas there. I can tell, I'm this, I'm that, but she is like, daughter. So she wouldn't give much weightage. She'll say, yeah. And then I would show her that, I've strengthened and your pain has gone. She'll tell me, I had paracetamol. That's she'll attribute it to something totally different. It's such a deflator for your ego, So but then, because she's my mother, I don't want her to suffer, right? So I would just keep on working on her. One day, she herself, she because there was deformity from the rheumatoid arthritis, and that's not something that just reverses. Okay, so one day she just told me many months later she could straighten her arm. And she was so thrilled. She said, my God, I'm straightening my arm. I'm straightening now. And then she said, this must be totally because of you. No paracetamol could have done that. Right? So she said, this must be because of what you did. So in stages it has happened. She didn't perceive, but eventually she could see that on one fine day she realized she could straighten. Otherwise, she used to do that. She cannot reach her hair and all that. But
No, she goes.
That was like it.
So, what my understanding is, it also helps you with your self realization and self awareness. So, it also heightens those realization and awareness about your own self.
Very true. Yes.
Right.
So it's a very fulfilling process, both for the receiver and giver.
It's quite interesting and intriguing.
And there is no receiver giver because the giver receives, the receiver gives. It's all just there like one package.
Right. You know, as a parent of 3 and you being a working professional, how has your parenting journey been like?
Yeah, I think without the Yuen method, I would have gone insane. You know, when you have one child, you're like, oh, I've got this. We have a lot of ideas about how ideal it's going to be, how perfectly you're going to do the parenting. And you're actually able to implement because it's still one child. It may not be ideal because we think it's ideal, it may not be. But still, we are able to do some things that we think we want to do. 2 children is like pushing it. We still, so some people with a lot of will and all that, they still, and the children have to listen, right?
Yes.
It's very difficult. So, okay, 2 children, we still try. 3, I'm a mother of 3.
Yes.
It's a jungle, let me tell you. It just happens. And you're like, you have to play it by the, whatever's happening. You can't really, at least not me. I wasn't able to do.
Right.
And I began as like a perfectionist and I would like have a list and do, and all this has to be done for them and nothing ever worked. So you kind of realize you don't need that list. Okay. So the Yuen method was so helpful for me to maintain my calm and at the same guide them where they need to be guided, not much speaking. So that is one of the things Dr. Yuen always stressed. He said, talking never leads you to answers. So the more we talk, we think we are resolving, we tell them. So the other day when I was in Orchard Road, I saw this mother was telling the little boy, she was leaving him and going somewhere. I think she was leaving him in the kindergarten or something. So it's a small child, okay? And she was saying, you remember what I told you? She was being a sweet lady. She was saying, you remember what I told you? You have to be kind, you have to be loving. And she gave all these adjectives. And I was like, this guy has not got any of those things because they don't understand words like that. True. They're just going by the feel of it. They're seeing how the mother is, how the father is, how the adults around them are. And they're just picking up that. That's how they pick up languages. That's how they're picking up mannerisms, everything. They're just picking it up. Words don't mean so much to them. Right? So kind, love and all that. For us, we feel, okay, we've given a nice laundry list of, yes, and we feel that's good. So, but it doesn't work that way. So we just have to activate their intelligence so that it guides them because that's, who else? That's their intelligence is going to be with them all the time, right? Even as a mother, I would want to be, but I can't be with them 24/7. So you activate their intelligence to guide them, to make decisions, to get along with people around them. They have to navigate it on their own. So it doesn't mean I was like stress-free, pain-free. No, that would be a lie. Okay. But I can vouch for it that my stress and pain reduced over time. So I would get flustered about if there are exams and they're not studying and I'm like, study, come on, you have to do this. I'm stressed, okay? So, but all that has reduced with a Yuen method and now I'm like almost chill about many things. So sometimes my eldest one will say the youngest one got the complete benefit of the Yuen method. I leave her like, she's like a wildflower. She just does. But they know they have their own moderation and thing. And of course, I'll step in if there's something there. So, yeah.
So true. So, Yuen method is a modality, as far as what I can understand, is something that we can experience or we can learn, just like an instrument that you mentioned before. But is there any kind of routine that we can follow every day to feel way more calmer and balanced?
Okay, so the Yuen method is actually like a very customized, tailor-made. It's that issue that time, that person. Okay, so the same person next time, it's not the same. It's that, it pinpoints the particular issue at that time. Okay, so it's really best for, but like I mentioned, the servicing of the car. Okay, that you can do like a general thing for everyone because we all have central nervous system. We all have a software and we all have a keyboard we want to take access of, right? Complete. So in that way, there is like a general servicing you can do.
Okay.
And yes, you can do it every day. You can do it however often you want. You can do a simple one. I'll take you
Yes.
through a simple one
Yes, that
right
would be
now.
nice. Yeah.
Okay. You don't need to, but it helps to shut out
Yes.
the environment. So close your eyes. Yeah, just take that deep breath and release it. And put your attention on your midline. It's like an imaginary line from the head to the pelvic region. Okay, so put your attention on that. And align your spine to the midline. Now run your awareness up and down the spine from the sacrum up to the lumbar, the thoracic spine, the cervical spine, up to the base of the skull. Then run down your awareness from the base of the skull to the tail end of your spine. So you feel a resonance. You feel a vibration go up and down. So you're activating your internal computer. Let's strengthen the hardware, the central nervous system, all the elements, the brain, the spinal cord, the cerebrospinal fluid, whatever elements are there, strengthen and integrate them. Now let's strengthen the software to delete all conditioning, all identifications. It's like debugging the software, remove all the malware, the viruses. Now strengthen the keyboard so you have full access to it. You're neutral and even. Now your hardware, software, and keyboard are strong. Let's connect it to the physical intelligence. It's like the supercomputer, which is prevalent everywhere, inside of you, outside of you. It's the intelligence that's making you breathe. So it's like a Wi-Fi connection that your computer gets, and it's connecting to that supercomputer. Now the two-way connection is strong. Let's strengthen for the combination of the central nervous system and the physical intelligence, this beautiful partnership to connect to every part of your body. Strengthen all the empty spaces, the cavities. Connect and strengthen all the quantum particles. They're all even and strong and connecting to the CNS and the physical intelligence. The atoms, molecules, cells, tissues, combination of tissues, organs, systems, the whole body. They're all working harmoniously together, doing their roles independently, separately, but coming together, integrating into one whole. Intuition, insight, and perception, strong. You can go up and down your midline and strengthen the intuition, insight, and perception. Delete all thinking, emotions, reactions, sensations. They all come in the way. So you feel the calmness. There's effortless effort. Enough tension, there's enough relaxation. They're all balanced. The tension is like how the rubber band does a tension. If it doesn't have tension, it's so lax, it's of no use. So we want the physical body, the central nervous system, to have that elasticity, that supple strength, which we call the tension. So relaxation, strong. Tension, strong. And your effort becomes effortless. There's no fatigue, no exhaustion. Now let's build our boundaries. So we tune out any external influences and we are strong to those external influences. So internal and external dynamics, strong. Internal and external boundaries, strong. So it's like being in a capsule where unwanted stuff from outside doesn't enter you. but you are able to access what you want from the outside. Take a deep breath, and whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes.
I'm speechless. Yes, I do feel much calmer. That is there.
Yeah. So you feel more balanced. And actually, once you do this, you don't really feel like speaking. There's nothing to say.
That's true.
You're just with yourself, and there's silence. There's more and more silence, and we want to build upon the silence. There's too much chatter. There's too much thinking, emotions. So we want that silence. And that silence has answers.
Right. Thank you, Geetha, for such an insightful episode. It was so lovely chatting with you. I mean, hats off to you being a mother of 3 and a working professional. And the way you've woven the Yuen method in your life, you're helping so many lives out there. That's an amazing job. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me here. And I have to say, really, I was impressed that when I heard that you're doing these podcasts as an answer to, like you're seeking. You're a parent, you're a young mother, and you're seeking. And this is such a wonderful way to seek answers and explore parenting. Rather than, just talking about it or Googling about it, you came up with this kind of a solution. So hats off to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for joining in. I hope you got some great insight from this episode, and I hope a parent can actually learn a lot from this and help their kids. See you next time. Thank you, everyone, for tuning into all our episodes. I hope you get some great insights about parenting. Please share this episode with all your family members and your friends, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. See you next time.